Hello, everyone, and welcome to Fashion Coffee Hour. I'm Stanley Smith, and I'm here as always with Marcy Carmack. Marcy is an expert fashion stylist, and I'm a visual merchandiser. We're here in Chicago, Illinois. We're talking to you from the Fine Arts Building on Michigan Avenue. We're going to talk about a designer, Emilia Wickstead. Is that correct?
Amelia.
Amelia, my good friend Amelia, who just learned her name 5 minutes ago. And Marcy's going to tell us a little bit more about this designer.
So Amelia is a New Zealander, and she moved to London to go to the Central St. Martin's and continued to have her business there. And that was in 2008. And she's known for color. During COVID, she did a collection, or pre-COVID, she did a collection that was not manufactured, but she was inspired by Helmut Newton and his mothers and their children.
Interesting. So these are domestic scenes, and these are mothers
wearing Amelia.
And this was a pre-concept line, right? So this line was actually never produced. Is that right?
Right.
These are all interior settings, kind of looking mid-century modern here.
Yeah, which still is very popular decor these days. I love the idea of it, and there's one of those cropped tops.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. Nice, and again, very mid-century modern.
Yeah, who do you think that painting is in the background?
I guess the novice would say it's a Picasso-esque.
George Condo?
I'm not familiar with that artist, but
little trapeze top and pants.
Yeah.
She's known for timeless, elegant clothing.
She has kind of this matter-of-fact presentation here, and I guess kind of the ballerina like stance a little bit, even though she's seated. It's interesting. You mentioned she doesn't do a lot of pattern, but she does. She has incorporated that.
Yeah, she's gotten more into it recently.
So some of these themes that were, I don't want to say preliminary, but they were set aside. They were not executed. Were incorporated later on. We'll see, right? Is that correct?
Correct. There's a lot of this pinstripe. It's a knit. In that case, it's hard to see with the photography, but I think it's a dress.
Interesting. Okay, and then these we have the.
So post-pandemic, she came out with this campaign that they went back to revisit the women in their homes, and here's a gal in this is very 90s, I think, a coat dress with a very exaggerated collar.
Yeah, and she has kind of a powerful stance here, very grounded. And here we see the print again.
Yeah, a little trapeze jacket and pants.
Oh, and here we are at the pool now. So this is perfect today, Marcy, with the summer-like weather we're having here in Chicago, because it's almost summer.
Yes. Well, by most people's standards, it's
summer. Not until the 21st of June.
That's right. So anyway, I love the hedge, the house, the whole composition with 4 kids, and she's wearing this great A-line skirt, and I don't know what I would call that top, a bandeau top with straps.
And we like the setting, kind of David Hockney, kind of absurd, minimalist, ironic positioning.
Yeah, Slim Aarons does photographs like this too, or he did them.
And kind of this idea of conveying the idea of the austere elegance of everything, the austerity of grandeur, because it's a little bleak, but yet it's obviously a very nice setting. Here's a completely different setting. Now we're in the warehouse.
Yeah, well, this woman has her own business and is a mother, is being photographed in her warehouse as opposed to her home. And here's another top that's showing a little skin. So that's a recurring theme.
And again, she's kind of in the ballerina-like pose, isn't she?
She is.
Here we see the same color with this color seems to be a recurring theme.
Yeah. A drop waist dress. And the children, I didn't really look at what they were wearing, but they look adorable.
They look adorable. The color we talked about the color being like burnt sienna or raw umber. The neckline or the plunging neckline is kind of austere and potentially challenging for some people, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then we have yet a third folder to look at, which is now pre-fall. Is that correct?
Yeah, this is pre-fall. So we'll see some of the same women and their children, and we see the pinstripe dress. I like the idea of the pinstripe in a knit, because traditionally it's a woven men's suiting.
And that's also very austere, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And all the way up to the neck, that's quite an austere presentation.
And this one looks like the reverse. A cream colored dress with a gray chalk stripe.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, the top looks like a window pane. So we can't see it exactly with the baby. But here she is in her mid-century home.
And we are a little light on accessories. So is the baby technically her accessory?
I think you're right. I'll go with that. Here's another cropped top, which is interesting. I'm not sure that many women will wear that on the streets of London or New York, but we'll see.
Yeah, interesting. Also interesting pose. You know, I wish we had a psychologist on our panel because I think some of these poses are really evocative. I don't really know what they mean, but like the previous pose where we had the lady with the arm behind her holding her arm, and this is completely the opposite, completely different feeling going on there psychologically.
So this is another print. Can you tell what that is? It's sort of an abstract print,
I want to say it's polka dot, but it's hard to say because I think it looks like she's got a stripe, like a brown and black stripe, and then she's got the polka dot print on top, or something's going on there.
Anyway, what strikes me is that all of the women are in flat shoes. So it's not about high heels at the moment.
But that's also kind of the idea of the ballerina too, right? Because they're always in flats. Kind of that no nonsense, austere feeling. Here's your pinstripes again, Marcy. She's got two accessories. Is she over accessorized?
Yeah, so that's a coat. And I think it's a jumpsuit.
Well, I see a jacket here, so it's pants. It's pants. It's almost like a zoot suit. She's like a little retro vibe there with the zoot suit look.
Another print. That's the same one we just saw, I think.
It's the same. So yeah, I think it is. Because I think I was perceiving this as being brown, striped, and black. So yeah, I think you're right. It just presents differently here. And then we have actually a show to look at. You can take a look at this, and this is fall winter. Is that right?
Right.
And Marcy loves the music, so you have to really enjoy the threatening.
Love the cape over the shoulder. Very dramatic.
Now, fall winter, that's an unusual fall winter iteration, isn't it?
Yeah.
The bikini top.
Yeah. All those crop tops are interesting. This one's kind of hugs under her bust.
And you're right, the flats. They're wearing all the flats.
Yeah, I like the color combo there. Red and light blue. There's this coat dress.
I was remarking about the posture, but I guess now that I'm thinking about it, that's partly to do with the shoe, isn't it? Because a heel does give a lady the good posture. And flat is just, you're just gonna be on your own, whatever your posture is. I was perceiving that some of the ladies looked like they were slumping a little bit.
I always love a good tunic.
I was telling Marcy I was getting kind of the 90s vibe, the idea of the spare look, and the idea of having the resources and ability to consume, but choosing not to, kind of that negation.
I love this. I love that over the shoulder stuff. And then here's the prim dress in the front and kaboo in the back. Yeah, see, I love a tunic and pants.
Is that the song, the lady in the long skirt, no, short skirt and a long tunic? I think that's a song, Marcy.
Is it?
I think so. Actually, I think it's long jacket. Short skirt and a long jacket.
Window, no, car wash. That's what they call that.
Oh, that's what they call that skirt?
Yeah, the panes,
Oh.
like a car wash.
I've never heard that term in reference to fashion.
This looks sort of pilgrim-like.
Yeah, you're right. It's very austere.
Yeah, I love this. Just ignoring the music.
I like the music. It gives a heightened awareness and anticipation. Something's going to happen. Like someone's going to step out behind the set with a knife.
More car wash.
I love the car wash. There's some print for you, Marcy. That's very American for a British designer. Is that a crumb catcher?
A what?
Crumb catcher.
It's interesting how it moved with the walk.
That's a beautiful color. I do like that color.
It is pretty. It's like a damask.
Yeah, that's exactly how I would describe it, but I think it's entirely not what it is. But that's exactly what I think of when I see that, because that color I so associate with damask. Yeah, at the end here, she is getting into more dramatic fashion or textile, like pattern. I don't want to say pattern, but the whole idea of the damask or the cartoony or the kind of the texture. It's very pretty. It's a nice melding of the severity of the design with a little softening of the fabric. And very few accessories, very few handbags, very few earrings, very minimal, isn't it?
I think, yeah, they're earrings, but you can't see them very well.
But luckily, none of us, we all lived to see the end of that. So that's a blessing. And then I had a couple of things to share with Marcy, so I could surprise famous faces. So obviously she's a British designer. So we see, actually, this is the wrong one, but this is Ivanka Trump. And I told Marcy that I was not familiar with this designer, but after taking a look at some of her fashion, I realized I had seen it elsewhere. And that's exactly the case, that we've seen it on people like Ivanka Trump, and we have seen it on people more obviously, since she's a London-based designer, on people like Kate Middleton. So I think of this as very indicative of Kate's style, and I never knew it had to do somewhat with this particular designer. So that was interesting. I think we can all see that, can't we?
Yes. I mean, maybe Amelia makes things for her, so she doesn't see herself coming and going.
Well, she might see herself coming and literally going here because Meghan Markle is wearing the same designer. She came and she went. She's gone. She left. She couldn't get out of there. So she took her Emilia Wickstead to the opposite end of the planet to work the West Coast.
See, I think they're still in London here, though. Anyway, that's just a very classic dress with a little self belt.
It's very nice. But again, I think that's nice. It's certainly indicative of her personal style as well. So it certainly transcends a lot of different personalities and people of style. Here's Melania Trump. And, again, I don't ever really took a close look at her fashion, but I can see that, I can see it just melds really.
It looks like denim, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's very pretty.
And it's got a top stitch on it.
It really melds with her, what I perceive to be her vibe, which was kind of a little bit austere, a little bit stiff in the background kind of demeanor. And then back to the West Coast, we've got Gwyneth Paltrow. So the Hollywood set also embracing the look, probably for different reasons. So you got
looks great. Love it.
A great smattering of iterations of people with personal style incorporating this designer. So Marcy, that was really interesting. I appreciate you enlightening us to that, and want to invite everybody again to tonight to our evening show at 6 p.m. Central Time, Fashion Coffee Hour, when we invite all of our guests and panelists back to take a look at this in closer detail and then have some fun and casual conversation about it amongst ourselves. So if you'd like to join us, please like us on Facebook, and we will send you the invite to Fashion Coffee Hour. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
See you then.